James Lindsay. He has his own YouTube channel, and he's pretty brilliant. He's very brilliant, actually. So, this is about how the left took over everything. So, let's go over a little bit, and I'll leave you a link, and then you can go check it out yourself.
James Lindsay, founder of the website New Discourses, as well as author of the book Cynical Theories, How Activist Scholarship Made Everything About Race, Gender, and Identity, and Why This Harms Everyone. James, welcome to the show.
Hey, I'm glad to be here.
Of course. Let's talk about woke culture. This is the sort of cause du jour at the moment for the left, and it's incredibly dangerous. But can you explain to our listeners why it is so dangerous?
Because it's Marxism.
Done. End the interview.
The end. No, it really...
It really is Marxism.
It's the truth, though. So, we mentioned cynical theories. I've got a new book out today called Race Marxism that tracks how critical race theory is, in fact, just a reinvention of, to whatever level of granularity and detail you want to go into, of Marxism using race in place of class. If we switch over to queer theory or gender theory, it's a reproduction of Marxism using gender, sex, and sexuality in place of class. And so the reason it's so dangerous is because, just like every other Marxist theory, it's an inversion of reality. It's not going to work. It's going to lead to calamity. But it also, wokeness, if we will, woke Marxism, if you will, is kind of very dangerous in its own unique way. It's the most corrosive societal acid that I think I've ever seen.
So what is it about Marxism that's...
What's happening basically is Marxism downtown East Side, and look what it looks like. Oh, they're poor people living in tents. No, they're drug addicts and criminals that can't be housed, that need a mental hospital, and they will not get mental health from you, government of British Columbia, because they're on hard drugs. So, of course, it was a horrible experience for all of us. They brought us chaos in the worst neighborhood and made it hundreds of times worse.
Seems to just not go away. I mean, we were having this conversation back decades ago about how Marxism was a problem. Why is it now resurging again?
Well, we never really got rid of it is the problem. The Marxists of the 20th century realized that infiltration and subversion was a necessary tactic, whereas Marxists before thought that, revolution, organizing and revolution would be the tactic. So organizing meant getting big groups of people to do labor movements and then to show up and to protest and to form huge unions and do all of this kind of stuff. And then to try to take over the means of production, literally through, if you look at whether it's Lenin, you look at Mao, through violent revolution. Marx himself said that violence is the midwife of revolution. And so...
Oh, now is that why we're seeing so much violence downtown? And they barely go to prison? And they're released? Is that why we're seeing racism and the people aren't even being prosecuted? The only people that are being prosecuted right now are Christians, pretty extremely, because one's is up for 10 years in jail for breaking COVID laws and handing out Bibles in Calgary, and he escaped a communist country called Poland when Poland was communist. So yeah, it's pretty pathetic. And it seems like they want their jails empty for some reason. Who are they waiting for? The dissidents and the Christians? Anyway, Christians are their enemies because they have truth.
That didn't work out. It worked in China, it worked in Russia, it worked here and there through Central and South America, but it's not been, it's been a trail of blood, a trail of disaster, and it hasn't been.
Now, these Marxists that goes after Christians won't go after any other religion that, may call for the immediate execution of rainbow people and all sorts of stuff. No, that's all okay, because that's culture. Cult. Cult is the root word. Christian isn't. What are they telling us? Oh, so that's the true religion that you're after.
Very popular outside of that. And so what they figured out in the 20th century was that if you wanted Western Marxism instead of the Eastern model, which worked in Russia and worked in China, if you want Western Marxism, you have to infiltrate and subvert. You have to get inside the institutions and change them from the inside. So what happened was, with varying degrees of success, they infiltrated.
Our school institutions now have paraphernalia for hard drugs. 10-year-olds are overdosing. The number one reason for kids 10 and up for death, not the flu, fentanyl and hard drug overdoses. They brought the drugs into the school system basically and said, here kids, it's okay. Oh, that's an overdose. Run into an overdose. Yeah, that's all day long.
Whether it's religion, whether it's the government, whether it's corporations.
And how do I know it's not something else? Because down here it would be a stabbing, and then there would be a lot of police cars too. We've already had our morning stabbing downtown east side Vancouver.
They got inside of education is a big one. Medicine now is a big one for our society. They've wormed their way into these institutions that make society work, and then they subvert them from the inside. So when you had Joseph McCarthy, for example, with outing these guys 70 years ago. Well, when the pressure got on, and there's this huge focus on how bad red communism is, they kind of went underground. And what they actually ended up doing, they figured out through the mid part of the 20th century and into the 60s, was that they needed to infiltrate education. Because if they get inside education, they get inside the future professionals in every other institution as well. Media.
Now, I already have, I'm in jail on my other YouTube channel for a video that I had gotten a strike for last year, fought, and then put it back up. And now they gave me a strike for it, took it down, and said I can't appeal that video. So I'm not going to play anymore, and I will let you guys listen to all of it. You can, and leave a link for you below.